I'm an actor. I know what it's like to be, narcissistic, and I think leaned into some of those uglier aspects of my personality. And
I just felt very protected and just felt like I could kind of go for it and, try different things. And he was there to make sure that nothing weird ended up in the movie.
I just wanted to surprise myself. And so I just knew if I trust my subconscious and I don't overthink anything.
Accomplishment for both of you. This movie's fucking amazing.
oh,
Like, I'm gonna start with you, Justin, because I this is not you at all. This is how the hell do you get in the mindset of a guy like this?
good. I'm glad you assume that. I hope you're right. I think you're right. I think there's a version of this guy in all of us guys. If our upbringing weren't, if we had different upbringing or if we had different circumstances, I think we're all capable of doing some despicable things. And fortunately, I'm grateful that I had a good, a decent upbringing, and I have a moral compass that would prevent me from doing something like this. But I still think the idea of somebody behaving in a way that is, narcissistic and entitled is something that is pretty common. And obviously, he does things in this that I are horrible and I would never do. So those were things that were hard to relate to. I'm an actor. I know what it's like to be, narcissistic, and I think leaned into some of those uglier aspects of my personality, and tried to mine them to try to find the truth in the character.
This process might seem overwhelming, but with a little practice, it can soon become a pleasurable experience. This is perfectly natural.
And Georgina, you're phenomenal. I mean, honestly, this is a hell of a performance. I saw it with the crowd the other night, and it's amazing. How do you approach a girl like this who really has to, without spoiling anything, how do you explain what she goes through?
Yeah, it was really fun. It was kind of, obviously at the beginning when you get a script like this, you read it, it's amazing, and you're like, yes, I want to do it, and then suddenly you're like, oh my god, like, I've got to do it. And there is so much that goes on throughout the script and so much that she's put through. But Zach wrote like a really wonderful script and is a really wonderful director, and I just felt very protected and just felt like I could kind of go for it and, try different things. And he was there to make sure that nothing weird ended up in the movie.
Yeah. It's a lot of trust. You got to trust somebody when you're doing such extreme stuff, the high stakes stuff, or playing a despicable character. Like I likewise, I really trusted him.
Why don't you just crash here?
Oh, no.
I don't know if you got a great look at this neighborhood, but I don't think you should be out there by yourself. It's dry and there's a lock on the door. By the way, I'm Keith.
Tess.
You take the bedroom, and I'll sleep out here on the couch.
God.
So, I've looked back at your career, and I've seen you in several things, including Adam Ruins Everything. I wonder, as a comedic actor, why is horror such an important story to take on and tell for you?
I mean, from a comedy point of view, they're very similar devices. They're both about an equation. Like it's math, where it's like, timing plus tone. You know, they're all about subverting the audience's expectation, zigging when they expect you to zag. So I do feel like I've been kind of toning this muscle through comedy for a while that can directly apply to horror. I don't think they're that different.
No, I think you're right, because I think they're both exaggerated versions of reality to an extent.
Yeah. And it's really, they're both about surprise, you know? No joke works without surprise, and no scare works without surprise.
Keith?
Yeah, speaking of surprises, there's a couple of surprises in this movie.
Yeah.
It is hard to tell people about. I'm going to tell you.
I know.
That right now.
It's what I love and hate about trying to sell this movie, you know?
I'm sure. Like, I was watching the trailer and I'm like, I've talked to some people. They're like, yeah, it looks pretty good. But I'm like, no. You're seeing like 20, not even 20 minutes of the movie there.
Yeah.
You talked about at the Q&A, you talked about writing this and how you had no idea where you were going with this. But how the fuck did you find the structure for this and create these characters without spoiling it?
I don't have an answer for you. I wish that I did. I wish I had some crazy, North Star that I could point to. I just wanted to surprise myself. And so I just knew if I trust my subconscious and I don't overthink anything and I just explore, Stephen King talks about writing and he has an amazing analogy where it's like, there's ways to write a story. You can do the outline where you kind of figure the whole thing out and then start writing, or you can be an archaeologist and you can be digging up these dinosaur bones and you don't know what shape the dinosaur is going to be. You're just following your little bones. That's what I took. That's the approach I took. And
Wow.
And this is the result.
Keith!
I think this is the batshit crazy movie of the year. I really do.
Well, thank you. Thank you very
Well,
much.
and now this cast, I got to comment on this incredible cast you gathered. How easy was it to kind of find the right voices for these roles?
I was really, really lucky. Georgina came on first, and I knew as soon as she signed on that I was going to be in good shape, because if I had a strong leading lady, then, that was a major tentpole for this movie. And then when Bill came on, I was like over the moon. I mean, that guy was like, I didn't even dare to dream that I could get someone like Bill in this. I'm a first-time director, he's a big star. And for horror, he's already kind of royalty. And I was just like, oh man. And it's weird, Bill actually doesn't really like horror. So he, believe it or not, he's not a horror guy. And so I kind of knew that going in. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to rope him in, but we really hit it off. And so he came on. And then Justin, dude, I'm just a fan of his. I'm like a legitimate fan of his. I have been forever. And I think in most movies he's in, he just steals the whole movie. And so, the idea of that role is so despicable on the page.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, yeah. But you take someone like Justin Long, who is so warm and charming and like disarming, and you put him on that role, and now you're really cooking with something special.
Oh God.
There's another story here, right? There's more
A lot of people have been asking me that today.
Yeah,
maybe there is. I don't know if it's for me to tell, but there could be.
Yeah, that's interesting, because usually people are ready to, I'm going to get my second film out. That's pretty cool that you're not thinking that.
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
Well, dude, we got to wrap it up, but it was awesome meeting you, and it was an excellent movie, dude.
It was lovely to meet you too. You know what's so funny is I've seen you and your background. I think I must have watched some YouTube stuff and of you interviewing someone else, because as soon as you popped up, I'm like, wait, I know this guy and I know this room. It was a pleasure talking with you, man.
Yeah, awesome, buddy.
All right, take care.